Hello there, everyone. Welcome. G'day. Thank you for joining me today. I'm a little bit off center. Let me just do that. There we go. Got to have the symmetry right. Welcome to today's live stream. I haven't live streamed in, I think it's 10 weeks now. I will explain what's been going on and why I haven't been live streaming. But I just thought it was time. I had to get back on the horse. You know what I mean? So I will do my normal thing and say hello to people here. I have just been informed by Steve from Mac84 that he unfortunately will not be able to join in the chat today because he has Christmas party, holiday party type thing going on. So hello to Nate Dorr. Hello Nate. Hello to Jack. That's Apple's Anonymous there, so that'll be Nick there. Gibbertronics Foxhound. What else we got? There's Steve, who was here for a brief moment. Thomas Armstrong, RetroRanger.com, Charlie's here, GT is here. Hello there, GT. Who else have we got? Colin, this does not compute. Hello and welcome. Welcome to Macintosh. Will from KMac. Jared Burma. TX Viking. G'day from Florida. G'day from Australia. 8WT Tinkering. What else we got here? Now, that looks like Kai, but my goodness me, that's an interesting name that's coming up in the chat for me. I don't know if it is for everyone else, but it's like UK MK3 Supra. Francois is here. Have I missed anyone? I think I've... Oh, that 0.5 guy. Okay. Yep, no worries. Okay, I think I got everyone. If I missed anyone, please jump on and say hello again. Yeah, it's weird the way YouTube does this sometimes. Sometimes the little handles that come up are just not the normal ones. They have like numbers after them and they're just complete. I just don't understand what's going on. It is hot here today in Sydney. Really, really, really hot. It's not as bad as it was 2 days ago. 2 days ago, it got up to 41 degrees Celsius. That's about 106 or something in the old F. And today it's supposed to get up to about 38 degrees C. They were originally predicting it would get up to 40, but they've revised that down a little bit to 38. So that's something, I guess. And the sun is shining down on my shed at the moment, so it's a nice little oven. I've got my air conditioner on, my little spot air conditioner here, keeping me cool as best as it can. I mean, you know, there are limits to what it's able to do. I don't know if anyone had a chance to see Crazy Ken, the video he did on his little spot air conditioner, the one that was sort of like ductless, the ductless air conditioner. That was just hilarious. It's like, any air conditioner is ductless if you don't include the duct in the packet. I mean, and that's essentially all they did, was it's just a portable air conditioner and they didn't include the duct. You could buy it as an optional extra. Actually, I think they would even just give it to you for free if you asked for it, but yeah. 41C is better than minus 41C. You know what? I think you're probably right. In this house, we have pretty good air conditioning. So, I mean, even on those 41 degree days, as long as we hang around inside, we're pretty good. You just don't want to have to go outside. Yeah. No one's names are showing up right. Crazy. So anyhow, I'll just have a quick little explanation as to why it has been so long since I have done a live stream. I mentioned, I think in my last live stream, pretty sure I mentioned that my mother had a fall. And she did some very, very serious damage to her knee. And she had to have basically 6 weeks non-weight bearing. And as a result of that, we as a family all sort of rallied together and took turns staying at her house to look after her during that time. And then she had 6 weeks of partial weight bearing, and she had some time in rehab and all sorts of stuff. She is now full weight bearing, but she still needs to use a walkery thing, and and she's not allowed to drive yet, and she's still got a brace on her leg. And yeah, so that for a while there, that would just completely and totally dominated my life, and so that made it difficult for me to plan things like live streams and stuff like that. So that was that, and then of course it just got into Christmas time, you know, every weekend I had something on, you know, getting invited to things and going to places and stuff like that. And just suddenly found myself with no spare days. And, oh, got to see the shirt? Someone's asked to see the shirt? There we go. I can show this with impunity now in Australia because I know that there aren't any children watching YouTube because they've all been banned. Hello, Choplifter HQ. Thank you. I appreciate that. Russian B. Hello. Yes. So anyhow, you know, lots and lots of socialising, lots of things. Last weekend I was selling a car, and so I had all sorts of stuff going on with that. And then this weekend was the first weekend in a while where we just had both days free. Yesterday, you know, did a whole bunch of stuff, you know, sort of chores type things. And then I said, you know what, I'm going to live stream today. Because, I mean, it is like here, it's like the 21st of December. That's 4 days until Christmas. Can you believe it? I can't believe it. My wife says I'm a child sometimes. I didn't get banned. I was actually hanging out last weekend with a group of people, and there was, I think, a 15... like the friend brought her daughter along, and she's 15 years old, and apparently she passed the tests. She was using Snapchat, and they have a test that you have to do, and she passed it, and so she's still using it. I sort of feel like, you know, I say, you know, the sentiment is correct. You know, I mean, they're definitely trying to protect people because, as for someone like me who, for someone like me who didn't grow up at a time when social media was there, you know, there was things like bullying and stuff like that, but that bullying would stop when you left school. When you got home, you were free, sort of thing. But now, of course, the bullying and stuff is going on all the time. And then, of course, lots of people pretending to be young people and they're not young people, you know, predators and stuff like that. So I kind of understand the rationale behind it, but I just think it's incredibly difficult to enforce. Okay. What do the chickens do? That's a good question. Let's ask the chickens. Excuse me, chickens. What do you guys do when it's 41 degrees Celsius? We sit here and we complain. Actually, generally not too bad. It is not ideal for them. 41 degrees Celsius is not great for chickens. But having said that, there are a couple of things. First of all, in this, let's see if I can I might even be able to show you. Just hang on a second here. That one? Is it that one? Yeah, it's that one. So if I just do this, oh crap! I better bring this up. There's a delay, so I've got to be watching this without a delay. There we go. Just across the top there, you can't really see it, but just across the top, there's a hose, and that's a little mister. So I switch that on when it gets really, really hot. So I plug that into the water, and it just brings a mist water down onto the ground. It helps cool it. It definitely does help cool it. But, you know, it is still very hot and uncomfortable for them. So we have new chickens. I got 3 new chickens. One of our chickens died. One of the black ones, unfortunately. Very sad. Sorry, let me just get this thing here. There we go. So one of our chickens died. Now where we go then? So we got some new ones. So the one on the right hand side here, which will come up in a minute. There's a bit of a delay. There we go. That one on the right hand side is one of the new chickens. The one on the left is the blind one. Then if we go up here, the one sort of eating out of the bowl at the moment, that's also a new chicken. Those 2 new ones are Brahma chickens, Brahma. They have the potential to grow into extremely large chickens. But we'll see what happens. And then the white one in the top right-hand corner, she is also new, and she is a Sussex. She is the white version of the brown one that you see down the bottom. The brown one there is also a Sussex. So, so very happy to have those new chickens. They're not laying yet, but the big issue we have at the moment is rats. Unfortunately, the rats are getting into this enclosure and eating the leftover chicken food. See how that bowl has food spilling out onto it? It's on its side? That's because of the blind chicken. She has a tendency to do that. She walks up and she tries to stand on the end of the bowl and it falls over. You saw the rats on the chook stream. Yeah, that's right. I mean, boy, I mean, you go there at the right time, you see a lot of them. Yeah, so anyhow, that's enough about chickens. But they definitely don't like the heat, but they do all right. I've got a new, which hand is it? This hand. I've got a new one of these. The last one I had just wasn't showing the right temperature. I don't know why, but I was just sitting here and it was saying it'd be like 35 degrees and it was coming up saying 22 degrees. And I'm like, hey, what? How does that work? So this one is now far more accurate. So I've got the time up the top there that it is here right now, and then you've got that, and it says overcast clouds. Well, there's a few clouds out there, but it ain't really overcast like that. It's blue sky. I hope the new ones don't bully the blind one. Yeah, look, whenever you introduce new chickens into a flock, you have to be very, very careful because there is the potential that they'll be fighting, and sometimes, you know, sort of the old chickens can come in and literally just peck the new chickens to death. So you have to be very, very careful. We kind of got lucky or unlucky, depending how you look at it. I mean, we first of all noticed that the new chickens were just desperate to get into this enclosure. We had them sort of outside of the enclosure with their own coop, but they were just desperate to get inside this enclosure. They're obviously just because of the way they're raised. The second day they were here, it sometimes takes like 2 weeks before you can start, sometimes even longer, before you can put chickens together, new chickens in with old chickens. But the next day it got up to about 38, 39 degrees. And I honestly think the chickens were just too tired. So we just let the new ones in. And they all just kind of, I mean, they kept a bit of distance from each other. But they all just sort of got along. And it's the fastest I have ever had new chickens in with old chickens. So I don't know what will happen to the new hierarchy, because the chicken that died was the boss. She was the kingpin. Pin. So, yes, all right. Well, that's enough. That's enough chicken stuff. Now, let's just talk about a few things. So, I've got some stuff coming from K-Cobra. An awesome new little thing. I'm not going to say anything about it yet because it is pre-release, but he's come up with what I consider to be a really, really nifty little device. Let's call it a sort of an all-in-one of quite amazing. It's designed for use with vintage Macs, and I'm really, really looking forward to getting my hands on one of those. So he said he's going to send me one of those as soon as it's ready. I picked up a couple of Macs the other day. I've got this friend who just gets hold of stuff from garage sales and deceased estates and I think all just from all over the place. It's just in markets and that. And he got in touch with me the other day. He's like, "I got a couple of these Macs. Are you interested?" Now, one of the Macs was an M1 iMac, one of the colourful ones, like orange. It's very, very, very damaged. I did actually post a picture of it on my Brankus page. I meant to bring it down here to show everyone today. But basically, it's the iMac. It has no stand on the back. It came with no power supply. But if someone has hit the middle of it, or they've dropped it or something, and like the whole case is warped like that with this huge ding in the middle of it. It's quite extraordinary. I picked it up for him for just a few dollars because I said, look, we've got two problems with this. First of all, it's very, very, very damaged. Second of all, it could be iCloud locked. I may not be able to, even if I connect an external display, I might not be able to actually unlock it and use it, and therefore it is just a paperweight, a smashed paperweight. But I thought it could still be fun for a bit of content, so I grabbed it. As I say, it was only a few dollars, not much. Hello, Peppered Clown. Is there anyone else I haven't said hello to? Purball 101, hello there. Just a reminder, at the moment, some people's handles are coming up weird. So your handle may not come up as what it normally comes up as, but yeah, that's just how it goes. And what else? Yeah, so I got that M1 iMac, and I'm gonna get hold of a power supply. Oh, they're bloody expensive, but I'm gonna get hold of a power supply and see if I can do something with it. Okay, and then I also got hold of a MacBook Air. I just should mention that Colin from This Does Not Compute did a video on the MacBook Air the other day. And of course, I should, full disclosure, I should let everyone know that I am one of those people that likes the MacBook Air, the original ones, the old ones that are sort of tapered. I have quite a few of them. I have a few 13-inch and a few 11-inch. My pride and joy is I have an 11-inch that was a custom to order. So it has like a 500 gigabyte SSD. A lot of them only had 128 or 512. So it's got 500 gigs of storage. It's got 8 gigs of RAM when most of them either had 2 or 4. And it's a dual-core i7 where most of them were just i5s. So that's one of my favorite, and that's just a little 11-inch, and that's fantastic. That's the one I take away with me on holidays because I can stick it in the glove box of the car. And then I got hold of this. Rather well. It looked terrible. It was covered in stickers, and I picked it up for really cheap, just the i5 13-inch MacBook Air. And I got all the stickers off and cleaned it up. It came up looking really good. The screen was in pristine condition. So I had another MacBook Air that was newer and more powerful, but the screen was a bit iffy. So I just swapped the screens over. So now I've got this really nice 13-inch one as well. So very happy about that if you're like me and you like MacBook Airs. So yeah, which I do. Right. And what else? I mean, God, there's been so much going on, but I released a video where I released a video a while ago now, but where I built these little paddles and a little joystick, and I have to say, I really like these. These are really good fun. Playing on, sort of the old hardware. I had a go at the joystick in particular for me that really brings back the nostalgia for me. But I was playing things like I don't know, Pac-Man and Ghostbusters, and what was some of the other really popular games? What were some of the really popular games on the Apple IIe at the time? Can't remember. Any Apple IIe fans out there? And then another thing that I've got happening, I have been doing a lot of work with the Atari portfolio. Now, I don't know if anyone here knows about the Atari portfolio or if there are any Atari portfolio fans in the chat, but the Atari portfolio was the little computer that John Connor used to rip off an ATM in Terminator 2. Exactly, easy money. That's the portfolio. Now, of course, it can't actually do that. I'm just full disclosure. It doesn't give you easy money from ATMs. That's just not what it does. But it is a very nifty little computer, one of the first of the Palm Tops, and it's a lot of fun. But anyhow, when they first came out, they had 128 kilobytes of RAM built in, and that's your storage and your RAM, and so it actually splits some of it up because it's got volatile storage on there, and it's kept safe by a battery, and if your battery goes flat, you'll lose everything on the disk. So anyhow, I have been working with this guy Andy, and he has devised a 512K RAM upgrade, and I'll be doing a video of that coming up soon. So, and I am also going to be doing a video about the dock light, the Juicy Crumb dock light for the iMac 27-inch. I did a video about that a while ago with a prototype. They have now sent me the finished product, non-prototypey anymore, and I am going to be putting that into a big 27-inch iMac that I got recently with a dead GPU. It's a 2011 27-inch iMac, and one of the very common failings of those were the AMD GPUs. They just fail on them with almost certainty. And so, given that it's got a dead GPU, I can't do a lot with the computer. Going to stick the dock light into it, turn it into an external display. 2 thumbs up. Right, now, what are we here for? Well, I've got this Quadra 840AV here, and apart from, the pleasure of enjoying each other's company, that's what we're also here for. But other than that, I've got this Quadra 840AV. Now, many people, if they know me, they know that I love the Quadra 840AV in terms of what it stood for in Apple's computing history, the power of these things. I mean, this was the fastest 68040 that Apple released. Digital signal processor, so you can actually capture video directly onto these. We've got 3 new bus slots. You've got plenty of RAM expansion. You've got VRAM expansion here. It's a pretty nifty Mac. There are a few things wrong with this, and I'm just about to unload, so just strap yourselves in. In terms of design, this is one of the stupidest Macs that Apple ever released. It was with the Quadra 800, the 840, the 8100, all those ones that were in that sort of tower form, that mini tower form. They are so stupid because the board sort of sticks to the side of the computer. All of this stuff is blocked off. You can access the what do you call them? New bus slots, but they're sideways, so it has to have a little plastic support to hold them up. And if you want to upgrade the RAM, you have to switch the computer off, obviously, take out all the PDS slots, any cards, they've all got to come out in a little holder. Then you've got to unplug all of the crap on top here, and then you got to, I used to sometimes do it without unplugging them, and I just lift it up like that. You got to take the little power button out. It's just crazy. And then you got to flip this up, and then you can put the RAM in or the VRAM. It was, when you consider the ease of something, say, if you look at something like the G3 tower or G4 tower, where you had that little ring pull, you pull the thing out and it opens out, and there's your motherboard with all your PCI slots and everything, and you think of how easy that is to get access. This is a friggin' nightmare. The other thing is, of course, the whole spindler plastics. A lot of the sort of what would you call it? Sort of the scuttlebutt. I don't know. It's not. This isn't really true, but a lot of people are saying that it was a time when Michael Spindler was CEO, and they weren't, and they were trying to save money, so they cheaped out on the plastics. That is not actually the case. The case is the fact that they started adding a fire retardant to the ABS plastics, and it's not just exclusive to Apple. You will find across the board computers that were made around about that time where they were placing the fire retardants in the ABS plastics. They fail when they get old. They crack. They get weak. This Quadra 840AV, my Quadra 840AV, this isn't mine, but my Quadra 840AV, the case, pretty much every time I move it, a little bit of plastic falls off it. So, yeah, crazy. Okay, so, I'm just going to have a look here, make sure I haven't got 927 on. Yes, okay, so the 09, they had something for the 0910, I think, but I don't know. There was something on there, but yeah. One of the big complaints that I've seen happen about the what do you call it? The dock light is it's too expensive. And look, sure, one could argue that. It's about 300 Australian dollars, I think. Obviously cheaper in US dollars, about 300 Australian dollars to buy. That is comparable to buying a second-hand Thunderbolt display. I think the iMac as a display probably is a bit better than the Thunderbolt display. I have a Thunderbolt display as well. They're a little bit flaky at times. But, the dock light allows you to... It works as a USB hub. It allows you to use the speakers built in. It allows you to use the camera. Whatever you call it. What do they call it? FaceTime camera. So, yeah... they're a cool thing. So anyhow, I'm going to be doing a video about that one. So anyhow, back to the Quadra 840AV. So this one here, I have already done 2 live streams on, and at a certain point, I will probably end up having to admit defeat on this one. I did say to the guy who sent this to me, I said, look, Quadra 840AVs are very, very problematic. I am more than happy to recap it and fix whatever I can with it, but I cannot guarantee I'll be able to get it working. I don't have the time to sit there and do an 8-hour live stream like our good friend Steve from Mac 84 has done, trying to get an 840AV back up and running. It's not an option for me. So I will do my best, but I can't promise anything. So this was recapped in the first live stream, and then during that live stream, noticed that there was a chip on this board. This one up Hoya, I think, this VLSI chip, that had pins that had come loose. The corrosion had actually caused the pins to come loose from the board. So in the next live stream, I took that chip off, I cleaned all the pads, and I put it back on, tried to clean the chip as best as I could, put it all back together. And then I wasn't able to test it because my power supply was in storage. I went and got it out of storage, and I did test this the other day, and it powers on, but we don't get a chime, we don't get a display, nothing. You just switch it on, the power light comes on, if you press it again, it switches off again. So we've got power going through to the thing, but there's definitely something not right. So I thought, hello, Mr. Tech Gadget. I thought I would have another crack, get it under the microscope, go and have a bit of a look around, see if we can find some other problems, see if we can find any problems with the work I have already done, and then see how we go. It's a shame that Steve isn't here, because Steve has just got all the Quadra 840AV stories, but not to worry. Currently trying to restore a Quadra 800. Haven't started on, this is coming from Choplifter HQ, haven't started on case rust and plastics yet. Motherboard is good, PSU is giving grief at the moment. Yes. Well, one of the advantages with a power supply is you can get a power supply from any of those same sort of style. I mean, there's the 8100, and there's I think it's the 8500. The power supply I have is actually from, I think it's an 8500 or 8600, something like that. And it works with the 840AV, the pinouts are the same. Because my 840AV power supply is poop as well. I will fix it one day, hopefully, maybe not sure. But my 8100, 8500, 8600, whatever it is, I think it's an 8500. Its logic board is fried. And so I just grabbed the power supply from that. All right, so I think I might scoot over to the microscope view now, and we'll just see how we go. So just letting everyone know, or reminding people, that I did actually replace the camera in my microscope recently. I used to have an Amscope camera, and now I have a Logitech webcam. Okay, let's just make sure we get full focus there, and then I'll make sure I'm in focus here, because you guys important. All right, so that's one of the. Oh, there's some goop on this. I'm gonna clean this. I had this had this interesting discovery the other day. I was my glasses end up with this kind of like circular part that gets rubbed, like it rubbed out, and I was like, what's causing this? And then I realized it's exactly where I put my eyes on the microscope, and so my microscope has been gradually destroying my glasses. So isn't that great? Oh, that stinks. Alcohol in a freshly cut wound is lovely. That's a bit better. Okay. Right, let's just go on and tick here. I used a 2CI power supply to test the motherboard. I don't think the pinout's the same. It's because it's a completely different size plug for starters. So, I mean, I imagine it can be done with a little bit of mucking around. I have a Quadra 800 story when the company that I actually worked for many years ago, and we all had 680, 68020, 68030 Macs and everything, and the boss invested some money in some new computers, so he bought Quadra 700 and a Quadra 800, I think. And there might have even been 3 computers that got bought, and they got stolen. I I think something sus was going on, to be honest. I think someone, you know, told someone, I don't know, that we had new computers. And yeah, that was a really sad time that we got this Quadra 800, and we only had it for a very short period of time before it got stolen. Thankfully, the insurance paid for us to get replacements, and the replacements we ended up getting an 840AV instead. So, yeah, the random flashing is still going on. I don't know what. I mean, it's probably something to do with my modifications, because I have modified this. Oh, that needs some screwing in. Hang on. Sorry, folks. That needs to be tightened up. I need to spend some time on this to find out what it is causing that flash. Because I do apologize. I realize it's very distracting. Okay, I have to refocus this because of that. I'm going to probably do a video on cleaning this microscope. I don't know if that's of any interest to anyone, but so far I've had Jay ask me how to clean it, Jay from the House of Moth, and I've then had Steve ask me how to clean it. So I feel like, at the very least, I'll be making a video for 2 people. Why is your nose going crazy? Hello, Rudy. Welcome. All right, so we're going to have to just make our way across this board a little bit at a time, having a look at stuff and seeing if there are any potential problems. We'll start off with the work that I did the other day, which was replace this chip. And I want to zoom right in, zoomity, zoom, zoom, on these pins to make sure, first of all, I haven't, you know, created any shorts or anything like that. This would probably benefit from a bit of a clean, to be honest. One of the really big problems with the Quadra 840AV, if you have a look down here, oh, that's a really bent pair of tweezers. Let's not use those. If you have a look down here, you'll see you've got a trace that runs up here. That's a trace, right? There's a trace and there's a veer. Now the trace is sitting, for the most part, sitting underneath a mask, a UV mask. On this computer, it's sort of a blackish, dark green, blackish sort of color. And then at the certain point, the mask stops, and then you just get a little bit of the trace coming out, and then you have the pad. And so you have, that's just a little bit of, it looks like it's metal, but it's not, this bit here, won't you? That looks like it could be metal. So, at this point, it is a real weak point. The point where the trace, the point between where it's still a trace and not a pad, but it's not covered with mask. That is a real weak point right in there. And I've had so many problems with that, and you end up having to do trace repairs just on this little section here. And that's what we're going to be looking out for. So, I'd also like to learn more about the new camera mods. You know, I did something monumentally stupid. I've got to tell you, this is this is up there for me. I did this mod on a camera, on a webcam, and got it working. I couldn't use it, unfortunately, for reasons to do with the fact that I had 2 cameras on this system that had exactly the same name. And that caused a lot of problems with the software that I used to adjust the cameras. So adjust the focus on the cameras, adjust the white balance, all that sort of stuff. So that was a problem. So I then had to go in and redo it with a different camera. So I did it initially with a Logitech C922, and then I did it with a C920. And when I did it the second time, I didn't film any of it. The first time was an experiment. So I didn't film it because I didn't even know it was going to work. Now I know it did work. I've now set this up so that you could actually connect this up even to a telescope if you wanted to, you know, with one of these universal adapters. So I did this work, and then I did it a second time and didn't do a video. And even just my close friends, when I told them that I'd done this, said, like, why the hell didn't you do a video on this? And I'm like, Yeah, that would have been good to have done that. Oh, it's not OBS that has the problem. OBS is fine with it. It's the software I use to make adjustments to the camera. So I've got this software that I use, and I've reported it to the people, but they haven't made any changes to this software in ages. So I use this software here called Camera Controller, and it actually connects to the actual adjustments in the camera. This isn't like a post adjustment. This isn't where you get you maybe make some adjustments to the color or something like that. This is an adjustment being made to the camera's actual hardware. So the sorts of things that it can control things like focus. You see me go out of focus there? I should change to this one. I can control focus. See, I can do that. I can control white balance. I can go wee, and all that sort of stuff. Auto. I can control brightness and contrast. I can control exposure. I can control gain. So this is a software that I use for that, and unfortunately, it doesn't figure out that I've got two cameras of the same name. Whichever one you make an adjustment to first, you can't then adjust the other one. So I'm using, so the one that I'm talking to you on now, this one here, that's a Logitech C922. I quite like the Logitech C922. That's the webcam I use inside the house as well. And then this one is a C920. So it's just, the 922's got a few little extra options, but the 920 is still pretty good. But it is probably something to do with my wiring. I need to probably open this up and have a little bit of a fiddle and just check and make sure that that's causing that flashing. Okay, Ben1777, hello there. Acetane20, hello there. Yes, Acetane20, I am streaming from a Mac. I am streaming from an M1 Mini. So I'll just give you a little explanation. I had, I have Amazon, sort of affiliate links. And when people use my affiliate links, I get a little bit of money, but I get that money in Amazon gift cards. And I had accumulated a lot of Amazon gift cards, and I used that. I had to put a little bit of extra in, but I used that to get an M1 Mini. It's the absolute base spec model, but it handles this brilliantly. I mean, when I'm doing live streaming here with multiple cameras, the CPU barely ticks over. Before this, I used to have an Intel Mini, like a 2012 Mini. And it was reasonably powerful, but with that the CPU is just always maxed out when I was live streaming. Now when I live stream, it's as I say, barely ticking over. So it has power to spare. Battery bombed. I refuse to give up because I love that pizza box style form factor. I feel you pain. Look, I love that pizza box form factor as well. The 660AV, 6100. I like the big pizza box. I have a huge soft spot for the 660AV. And one of the reasons for that is because of its shape and size, it was sort of portable. It was more portable than other Macs. And I had a Mac 2 at home, but I was every now and again doing work, just sort of for a friend. And my Mac 2 just didn't have enough power, so I asked the people I work with, I said, can I take the 660AV home for the weekend? And they said, yeah, sure. So I did it for a few weekends. Basically, it's the end of the day, the end of Friday. Just unplug it, take it out, zip it home, use it on the weekend for whatever, games, things, stuff. And then I would take it back into work on the Monday. And for that reason, I've got a real soft spot for the 660AV. Love it. All right, let's go back down. Oh, no, that's not what view we want. We want the scope view. So let's go back down here and start looking. So I'm just looking along here to see, first of all, if there are anything that looks like a break in these pins, or if there's anything that might look like it's wedged in here. See, there is something wedged in here, but I actually think it's just a little bit of paint or the screen printing. See how you've got all the screen printing over here like that? Well, they come off and some of those have come off, and they're sitting in between the pins. But I can tell what is and what's not in when I look here, so that's good. So just looking here for anything. See, that doesn't look too crash hot. Oh no, that's okay. Okay. Okay, well that's not even soldered on. So there's your problem. Well, there's a problem. I mean, it's probably still making contact, but it's definitely not soldered on. Going to need a modicum of flux. Oh, what's that? Ooh. What do I need? That. Oh boy, it's hot. Okay. There we go. All right. So we have to continue here. Anyone working on any interesting projects at the moment? Always happy to hear about stuff people are doing. This one here that's sort of back a little bit, I don't like it. I'd love to be able to bring him back out again. One of the complications I have with this is that these pins are quite corroded, and I did my best to clean them, but you know, I'm a bit limited with what you can do because the pins are so thin, so easy to damage. Load of 9 beige beauties for 130 US. Lots of recapping in my future. Oh, what'd you get, Mr. Tech Gadget? Please tell. I'm working on getting my 40-foot RV ready for the road. Nice. Same age as some of my old classic Macs, 1988, so it's fun. I hope the plastics aren't as brittle. PowerBook 190 CS, working fine until a week ago. I got out of storage to check it. Now the power light of dead is on. Go, starting with a full recap and see how it goes. Yep. I really gave up on PowerBooks. I found them to be so finicky. Just continuing to work my way around here, inspecting these traces and inspecting these pins. So we've found one that wasn't soldered so far. This one here doesn't look like it's soldered, but we'll see. I think it's sort of soldered. That's better. And we found a little, what looked like a solder ball wedged in. Get rid of the balls. Some of these just don't look too crash hot, you know. Just because of the state these pins were in. be gone. I'm cooking chicken palmy for dinner tonight. Any Aussies in the chat will know exactly what that is. Others from other parts of the world may have no idea what I'm talking about. But it is an Aussie staple. Yeah, nice and warm, nice and warm. No plastics, no fiberglass. This thing is built out of stainless steel and aluminium. That's good. 16 tons. My goodness, you'd need something to drive that. Apple IIe card in one of the LCs made my day. Ah, yes. I think I saw your post on one of the forums. I mean, wow, that is just so good. I'm so envious. I mean, I'm also reminded of just how stupid I am because I had one of those bloody 2E cards and I sold it years and years ago. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with this? This is before I kind of got back into it. It's Acetane 20. It's chicken parmigiana. So, yes, sort of. Except it's a G instead of S. P-A-R-M-E-G-I-A-N-A, I think. Parmigiana. Parmigiana. Oh, it's an Italian dish. It's just become an Australian staple. Australia has, let's just say, put its spin on it. Shall we go as far as saying that? First day of winter tomorrow. Yeah, we are already 21 days into summer, and well, you can see there from the temperature up in the top left-hand corner there, 35 degrees Celsius, that it is definitely summer. I am sitting here with the air conditioner blowing directly on me. It's not really cooling the shed. It's just that it doesn't have enough power to cool the whole shed. So it's just cooling me. It's personal cooler. Oh, they spell it. Oh, okay. Parmesan here. Okay. Well, that's how we would refer to the cheese, Parmesan cheese. So if we talk about a block of Parmesan cheese, we would say a Parmesan cheese. But when we're talking about chicken Parmigiano, it's Parmigiana. And basically it's what Americans, I believe, call breaded chicken, what we here call crumbed. So it's just chicken that's been, kind of flattened, and then with egg wash, flour, egg wash, then breadcrumbs, shallow fried, and then you top onto it like a sort of a tomato sauce, like a marinara type tomato sauce type thing, and then you sprinkle mozzarella cheese and Parmesan cheese on it, and then you grill it, and the cheese melts and goes nice, and it's really nice actually, and my wife absolutely loves it, so I really enjoy cooking it. Yes, of course, traditionally it would be done with veal. One of the issues I have with veal is that veal is very kind of unforgiving. If you overcook veal, it becomes tough. And with chicken, I use thighs, and chicken thighs, they've got quite a bit of fat content on them, and they're very forgiving when you do this sort of stuff. So, welcome to Branker's Creations Cooking Show. So we've got schnitty. So essentially what you have is what we call a schnitty out here, chicken schnitzel. So that's the breaded chicken or the crumb chicken, so that's a schnitty. And then you add the tomato sauce and the mozzarella cheese, and that's when it becomes a parmigiana. How can I die with all this talk? Indeed. One of the things about living here in Australia is the fact that it's a multicultural melting pot, and so we just borrow from all the cultures, and often changing things a little bit putting our own spin on things, but ultimately I think still being reasonably respectful to what the initial dish was. But if you come out here to Australia and you go to a pub for lunch, you will be able to get either a chicken schnitzel or a chicken parmigiana, virtually guaranteed. If a pub is not serving those dishes, they will lose patrons. It's just something that is expected. I'm going to come at this from this angle. What is that? What is that? Little thing. Away with you. I've still got it. Away. A little bit of metal there, but I don't think it's actually making contact with anything. Probably need to give this another go in the ultrasonic, get rid of some of this flux and junk. But looking along here, I don't see anything that looks like a trace break. So that's kind of good. There, yep. And I believe we've sorted out, I'm just going to bring the focus up onto here and make sure we don't have any bridges. That's good. That's good. Very good. Okay, so I feel I've done all I can for this chip. We'll have to move on to some others. Branca's Kitchen Creations. I would actually love to do cooking videos, but it's just such a saturated market, you know. Oh yeah, we definitely serve it with fries. Well, chips. We call them chips. But yes, you'll basically get the chicken, and depending on where you are, it's either a chicken parma or chicken palmy. So you'll get both versions, and for some reason that's become a thing. And so yeah, chicken palmy, chicken parma, and yeah, and it's always served with chips, and sometimes a salad as well. $6 miles per gallon on a good day. That doesn't sound good. Lots of veal grate. Yeah, I mean, Australia is one of the largest sort of beef exporters in the world, so we definitely have lots of good veal here. But as I say, there are veal dishes I cook. There's ones that I cook like with mushroom sauce and stuff like that. But when it comes to doing a schnitzel, I much prefer to use chicken. Oh, pork. I use pork as well. Pork is really good for that. Yeah, that sounds nasty. The car that I sold this week is actually a great big, well, it still is, but it's just not mine anymore, a great big gas guzzler. It was a 1970 Dodge Phoenix, which is basically just an Australian release of Plymouth Fury, 1970 Plymouth Fury. So in Australia, when they decided to release that car, when they decided to release the car in Australia, there was no presence of Plymouth. Plymouth is not a brand that Australians knew, but they knew Dodge. And so they rebadged the Plymouth Fury as a Dodge Phoenix. Out here it was a limited edition. They only made 400 each year. And so it was called the Dodge Phoenix 400. And I had that for about 15 years, but it's just been sitting in the driveway, not getting driven and not getting looked after, so I sold it. But that one was just the amount of fuel that thing goes through. Hooga. So, yeah, look, it was time. It was time. There was a time in my life when I was really passionate about that, and I used to get out there and work on the car. But a lot of that interest just sort of waned. A few things happened. One thing that happened was one of my, well, arguably my best friend passed away a few years ago in his sleep. And he was someone who was really passionate about the cars. And so that was kind of one of the passions that I shared with him. And when he passed away, I just lost a lot of that flame, you know. Interestingly enough, the Dodge Phoenix they sold out here in Australia, they sold it as it was like a really flash car. They were the same price as a Porsche over here. All right, so time to continue here, looking for problems. Now, the common places that you'll have problems on these are any of the chips that are near a capacitor. So, for example, over here, we've got a capacitor here. And you've got our digital signal processor chip right there. And it's very, very common for the leakage from this capacitor up here to find its way over here and damage these pins or traces. So, you know, we need to have a nice close look here and see if we have any problemos. See, that one doesn't look too good, but he's on there. He's definitely on there. And it's just, you know, looking for anything that might look like a break between the shiny bit. Oh, you can't see. There we go. Look like a break between the shiny bit here and the mask part there. So it's right in that little point there that we have a weakness. So I just got to look for that. The Quadra 840AV traces are really narrow in comparison to a lot of the computers that preceded it. And so they are more susceptible to corrosion. It's easier for them to corrode and break. Ooh. I love Lincolns. TX Viking. 1972 Lincoln Mark IV. I think, I mean, a particular era of Lincoln, those great big long cigar cars that, you know, they're like 1/3 is bonnet, 1/3 is boot or trunk, and 1/3 is cabin. That was sort of like what my Phoenix was like. I love those sorts of cars. Anyone seen any good action films lately? I'm looking for some good action films, but geez, there's been just so much crap coming out. Now's a terrible time of year. Now's the time of year to start releasing, you know, these Z-grade piece of shit bloody Christmas movies. Can't stand it, but, you know. These are all making contact, so that's kind of promising. And I know these don't look good. They've got a layer of yuck on them, but they are still connected. And I don't see anything that looks like a break along here. Now we can test one. Test this one. '72 is the year I was born as well. What a great year it was. I don't know, I have no idea if it was. Okay, so let's get this onto continuity beep beep mode. Yep, okay. So I know I only tested one, but they all look pretty much the same. So I can obviously go to greater lengths later on, but remember the days of the bloody. Oh yeah, so I should have just mentioned with the Dodge Phoenix I had, it was a 383 big block. So I know they were available at 440, but it was a 383, and that is I think about in what we use for gauging car engine sizes. I think it's like 5.6 litre, something like that. But that chewed a lot of petrol. We say petrol here, not gas. We call them petrol stations, not gas stations. Or servos. That's the main thing we call them. Servo is in short for service station. I feel a sneeze coming. Just want to warn everyone. This microphone is very, very close to my mouth. Oh, it's gone away. You've got a yawn instead. Just want to check this one out. Bit of corrosion. Good. That's a lot of displacement. No wonder it uses so much petrol. Okay, so that's not too bad either. So I'm just going to hunt around these capacitors, because that's where the leakage comes out, so that's usually where the corrosion goes. So just going to keep looking. Got to sort out that bloody flicker on this bloody camera, bloody. So there's a cap there. That's one of the originals. This one we just looked at. That's one of the originals. Got this one here. because I probably need to check some of these vias to make sure they're getting through to the other side of the board. I haven't inspected the other side of the board at all. At all. I'll check this one out. I need to look at it from the side. God, I hate looking at this corrosion. It just, you know, it bothers me so much. And you know, I don't blame anyone. I mean, it's like, you know, I got this old computer. It worked. I've put it away. Come back later on. Surely it still work. But in the meantime, these little capacitors are doing their little tricks. Okay, let's just check some of these little vias and traces. Whoopsie, a bit out of focus there. Sorry, everyone. Come on. Well, that's definitely a break. There to... Nope. Let's see where the break is. I was gonna... Better zoom in on this. Zoomy zoom. Oops, I just made it out of focus by pushing it. Alright. So I've just exposed a little bit of that trace there. I'll go from here to here. Nothing. Go from here to here. Yeah, okay, so I think the break is here. I'm just going to run a whole new wire across here. I've got to change my position here because the board's teetering. And that makes it very, very difficult. There we go. Now it's not teetering anymore. I can focus on it properly. So I'm going to just expose this trace and I'm just going to put a new wire down in place of it. I'm missing. There we go. Oh, there you are. Was stored in non-climate controlled storage, most probably. Did anyone respond to my question about decent action movies? I have a sneaky suspicion I'm asking for the impossible, but just in case anyone has seen a good action movie lately. Maybe we can talk about some of the really good action movies that have come out in the past. We can lament them. got myself a little bit of wire here, and we are going to use this to re-establish this connection. So poop. No spoilers, please, but has anyone started watching Series 5 of Stranger Things? I started watching it the other day and lost interest incredibly quickly. I want to get back into it because I do kind of want to see it out, but I don't know. Love the intro for that show. Sneakers. Sneakers, that's ancient, isn't it? Isn't Sneakers ancient? Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning. Go. No good action movies for months. Is that Cap End Green? This one? My colour balance looks a little bit out at the moment. I can see there's a... Let me just see if I can sort that out, because... white balance, sorry. Let's go to camera controller. Let's go to this one, and we go to white balance. Oh, how's that? There we go. That looks pretty close. These little guys in the left-hand side, they're pretty neutral in color. They shouldn't have any color cast to them at all. There we go. That'll do. Everything is green. Oh no, it is green. There we go, that looks more like it. A nice big blob of solder on there. Now I just have to try and hold this down to get a blob of solder on this side. I would like to actually have this board in a different position, but I don't have that luxury because it's so freaking big. There we go. Okay, that ain't pretty, but I believe the problem is resolved. I need my scalpel. There it is. Haven't heard of Blazing Saddles quite yet? No. Fifth Element was more of an action comedy sci-fi mix, but it was one of the best such movies ever. I would agree, it's a fantastic film. Oh, Choplifter HQ. I was going to watch that when I finished. Oh no, sorry, I see you're making a joke. Yes, it's still going, isn't it? I assume it's still going. The cricket, that is. Let me just check. So cricket is on at the moment. It's Australia versus England, what we refer to as the Ashes. This is the third game of 5. Australia won the first 2. And in this one here, Australia's in a pretty dominant position, but, you know, Christmas miracles sometimes happen. So let me just have a look here. I'm going to just check it out very, very quickly. Oh. Okay. Buddy Bazball. If people want to watch that sort of cricket, they should watch limited overs. There's no room for this Bazball stuff in Test cricket. That's just my opinion. Okay, 7 for. The 7 for. Excuse me while I whip this out. I do often quote Blazing Saddles. That one line in particular, that excuse me while I whip this out. Okay, so let's go from there to there. Yay, we've got a restored connection. But it does now make me extremely suspicious of this thing. So we're going to do some checkeroonies. It's going inside. That's good. Where's that going? I can't tell. I've only got one of these, I think. Bing, 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 bing. It could just be going down underneath it, so I don't know. God, this eyepiece is so dirty. Okay, so this one I can test to there. That's good. This one I shall just make a little incision. "37 degrees outside. Yippee." I think this might actually be broken. No, it's not. Just wasn't pushing hard enough. Ah. I appreciate this is a fairly boring part of this process, but given what we've just seen, it is an important one. The fact that we had just one trace here that was bad. Only takes one to stop the computer from working. Oh, hot, 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 hot. Hot, 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 hot. Where are you, Dark Winter? Oh, it's 37F. Doesn't count. Oh, dear. It's be 137 is like I don't know, 105 or something. Hey Siri, what's 37 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? 98.6, so just under 100. Just lean back here. Oops, knocked my microphone off. Fluffy. There we go. I just need to sit back here for a minute and just take some of this cool air in. Because it is very hot. Very, very hot. Once I finish this, I'll be able to go inside. Inside the house, lovely and cool. Yeah, isn't it a funny thing when someone says that word, the "hey person," and and then that comes out of speakers, it's and then all of a sudden everyone's phone starts going off. Getting buffering. You're getting buffering. That's no good. I've got everything's green here at the moment, so it's telling me my connection is excellent. A little green light. It says excellent. So YouTube is telling me it's happy at the moment. So I'm afraid the buffering is probably coming somewhere else down the line. All right, okay, so let's continue. We must continue. Every little trace that I repair is one step closer to this thing working. And I really do want to get this working. I made no promises to the person who, who sent this to me, because for the very reason of this stuff that's going on at the moment. I know what can happen with these. But at the same time, I also completely and totally understand the passion associated with this particular computer model. I love the 840AV. To me, it's just a real standout in the history of Apple computing, and I think it's a very worthy computer to try and fix. And if I can get this working for this person, well, look at that great big fat ball in there. I don't know that it was making contact with both sides, but it certainly needs to be gone. Yeah, I would very much like to try and get this working for the person. Oh, God, look at all these bloody solder balls. Balls! They're everywhere. And these ones won't matter because these are joined together anyway, but I still want to get rid of them. There you go. Great balls of solder. Biggest issue I have here when it just referring to welcome to Macintosh's comment there about during Siri talking while doing a take, or doing a show, and I generally don't have that problem. The big problem I have when I'm trying to record stuff is birds, because I'm trying to record things out here. I've got this great big fig tree just there, and it's just always got birds in it. And the ones in particular that get me are the ravens. They're the ones that sort of make this sound, and they'll do it, and then there'll be a pause, and then I'll start recording, and then they'll just start doing it right in the middle of the recording. It's like, bloody hell. Just going to check on the chook see how they're going in 37 degree heat. Hello, chooks. Hello, chooks. There we go. So you got two right up the back there, and then you got one on the left, and then you got two up the front. One of them is missing, so it's either outside of camera down below, or it's in the nesting box, pooping breakfast. What do they call them? Bum nuts. Doing a bum nut. I love the wattlebird noise. Actually, it's really sad because the wattlebirds used to be here. They're not here anymore. When I first moved into this house, there were wattlebirds everywhere, and now there aren't, which is disappointing for me because I did like the wattlebird. But they do make some noise, no doubt about that. And we used to have willy wagtails here as well. We don't have them either. And they're still in the area. They're just not here where I live, and they used to be. Got another capacitor here. Just wherever these capacitors are, that's where I've got to be looking. I've got to be looking nearby, make sure there aren't any trace damages. See, I don't know if I've checked this one before, but I'm gonna. Yep, we're good. Some of them clearly leak worse than others. You see this darkening under these traces. Now, although that is definitely looking like the start of corrosion, I am fairly confident that these traces will be not broken. Yeah, it's just on the surface. Where does it go? It goes too far away. I'm not going to follow that all the way. So I've repaired two things so far. So there was a pin that wasn't on properly. There was a solder ball that looks like it was in between two pins, a couple of them actually. Remove those, and it was definitely a busted trace. So there has been repair done. Look at that. Look at the dark stuff there. Just going to check and see if we've got Keep missing. There we go. There we go. So let's just go from here. We're good. We're good. We're good. Are we good? We're good. So look at all this darkening around here. God, this eyepiece is just driving me bananas. It's so dirty. Boop, 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 boo. This is fun. Thank you. Thank you. I have a lot of self-doubt when I'm doing these sorts of things, I will say. So I thank you. That makes me feel good. Very often, I get to the end of a live stream and I think, that is the most boring live stream I have ever done. Other live streams I walk away going, oh, that was a good one. That was a good one. We'll see how I feel at the end of today's one. But I'm glad to be back. I'm definitely glad to be back. It's been a very, very interesting time over the past few weeks. I mentioned at the beginning, for those who missed the little recap, but my mother had a fall, and so I did actually mention that in one of my other live streams, but that meant that I had to go and stay at her place for a while and help look after her, and then of course it was Christmas. I started having social things. I had birthdays to go to, because I've got lots of friends that have their birthdays around November. I had birthdays to go to. I had Christmas parties to go to. You know, it's just it was just crazy social time. All right, so this is another area of concern. Though, having said that, a lot of these look all right. I mean, they don't look great. I'm not trying to oversell them here, but I'm having wine now. It's too early for me. I could go it, though, I'll tell you. There's something about the heat, you know? I mean, I would love to just be sitting there sipping on a wine or even a beer or something like that. I'm not too fussy. With this warmer weather. What was that thing that was said by in Shawshank Redemption? As nothing like I can't even remember what the line was. Something about nothing like a drink of some suds at the end of a hard day's work or something like that. Nothing makes a man feel more like a man than a drink of some suds at the end of a hard day's work. Something like that. I don't remember the exact quote, but if you've seen Shawshank Redemption, you'll know the one that I'm talking about. So some of these ones that even look a little bit darkened and stuff are still okay. So I think I can safely say that this chip is all right. You don't see the real problematic stuff, the corrosion happening down around here as much with this one. Because these ones here are nowhere near a leaky cap, so these ones actually don't look too bad. So as you can see, these are all way shinier. Mind you, this does look like this chip gets hot. Just the discoloration of the bottom of these pins here kind of makes it look like this is a hot chip. To actually test this one now, you know. Very tempting. Oh, what is that? It's all right. It hasn't caused any corrosion, so whatever it was, it's benign. Benign. Oh, hello, little guy. Geez, I've been getting a lot of use from ChatGPT lately. I had a few just sort of niggling technical issues that weren't major technical issues, but they were just minor technical issues, and I just sort of put them on the back burner, and I was like, stuff it. I can work my way around that. And then I've just been sort of sitting there going to ChatGPT saying, hey, I have this problem. Can you help me diagnose it? And it just goes through and gives you all these steps. I'll try this first. Okay, well, we can rule that out then. Try this next. And okay, well, we can rule that out. And that means it's going to be this or this. And it's really useful. Oh, thank you very much, TX Viking. That's very nice of you to say. Yes, I watch a few of Justin's live streams as well. I don't get to watch all of them. He's a very prolific live streamer. He does it all the friggin' time. And oh, my thing switched off. And I pop in and say hello, particularly when it's the Mackie type ones. I'm not as interested in the PC type ones or in some of the game consoles. I like some of the game console work. I do. I've never used any game consoles. I never owned a Game Boy. I've never owned a... the closest thing I've ever come to a game console is a Nintendo Game & Watch. So... yeah, I mean, I like... I don't know if you can hear that banging, but that's a raven up on the roof. He's trying to open something or something like that. He's whacking something against the roof. He's probably got something he's trying to crack open. I don't know, because ravens are pretty smart. But, yeah. All right, I'm not being very systematic here, so I should probably start being some systematic. Be some systematic. Come on, be systematic with me. I should probably start marking some of these off to show that I've actually looked at them. Oh, and actually, I'm not sure if it is a raven. I think it might be a little minor bird. It might be an Australian minor bird or an introduced minor bird, but... I just heard a chirp from a minor bird. Yep, we're good. Hey, birdie, cut out that racket. One of the things that I'm always very, very happy about when I have a board like this is that I have a large ultrasonic cleaner, this one here, because it's plenty big enough for a board of this size, whereas the smaller one that I have, not so good. Haven't even looked at this little guy. Hey, little fella. Some discoloration there. Just check that out. Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're good. Oops, I've lost the chat. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? They are some very suspicious looking resistors. You're talking about these ones back here. They look pretty rough, don't they? Rough as guts. I think they're probably still okay. I'm just going to check the resistance now, but these are all the same. Okay, 22 ohms, 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 22 ohms. Yep. So they look terrible, but they're all good. Ravens here like to get stuff under car tires to crack them open. Yeah, they do the same here. Very smart birds. Customer of yours is saying enough with the damn food movie reviews. Speaking of movies, has anyone seen any good movies lately? I know I talked about action movies, but just movies in general. I have watched a couple of movies. There's a few I want to see. I want to see that one with The Rock called The Wrecking Machine. I don't know anything about the character the movie is based on, but I'm just curious to see that one. There's some horror films that I really want to see, but I kind of have to watch them on my own because the missus isn't as big a fan of horror films as I am. I want to see Bring Her Back. But I think I'll be watching that by myself. I had an 840AV on my bench a good long while back, and there were so many broken traces around these chips here. I think they're VRAM or something like that. Just horrendous. The new Conjuring is good. It's number 5, isn't it? Number 5, Conjuring number 5. Yeah, I'm keen to watch that. I liked Conjuring 1. I loved Conjuring 1. Conjuring 2 I didn't like as much, mainly because I'd actually seen some of the real life footage of that was based on, and it is so obviously bogus. So when you're trying to watch this film that's based on real life events, but you know the real life events were absolute horse shit, it sort of makes it a little bit harder to get hooked in it. But it still had some good scares. I enjoyed Conjuring 2, and I think I saw one about Annabelle, the little doll, the history of Annabelle or something like that. But yeah, I'll definitely watch the latest Conjuring. I don't mind that. I specifically like supernatural horror. There are plenty of horror films out there that might be about some bad guy going around killing people, but for me, the supernatural horror is much more preferable. It's just sort of what I like. So funny how 840 came after 950. If you want to try and make sense of some numbers, what about the 7000 series? 7200, 7300, 7500, 7600. The 7300 was the most powerful out of all of them. Try and explain that. Number 1 and 2 is... I have never watched Cocaine Bear or Crackoon. I haven't even seen Sharknado. I've never watched any of those sorts of like deliberately silly kind of horror films. I think it's the sort of thing that I probably could get a few drinks into me and watch and enjoy, but it's not something. It wouldn't be my first choice of film to watch. I got a new phone. I'm not even sure if I if I had my new phone when I did my last live stream, but I got one of these these, what do you call them? It's a 17. Is it 17 Pro? It's good. Love the cameras. 8 times optical zoom. Awesome. Love it. Very, very big fan. Yeah. I can't flip it around this way because there's notifications from family, so I'm going to do that. There we go. Now I can switch it around. There, look at that. Hey. That little barcode, you can, if you want to grab that barcode that was on there, that's my. You can earn rewards on my groceries. Okay, 7600-200 is the same as the 7300-200. Okay, there we go. I will definitely concede. But let's face it, I mean, weird numbering. Drunk Raccoon in Virginia. I think I did. I think I saw a photo or something. Yeah, that does ring a bell. Tried Sharknado and couldn't do it. Yeah. Oh, Weapons. Yes, I watched Weapons. I did see that horror film. It was good. It was a well-crafted horror film. There's no doubt about that. I did enjoy it. I had a few kind of plot-related issues with it, but on the whole, I found it, as I say, very well-crafted, very entertaining, good acting. I mean, it was good. So yeah, enjoyed that. So let me just have a look here. Oh, I love it when the VLC logo has a little Santa hat on it. So cool. VLC Media Viewer. What a great piece of software that is. Yeah, I'm just having a look here. I've just recently rediscovered all of those. What were they called? Remember those stop motion animation Christmas specials? Rankin Bass. The Rankin Bass stop motion Christmas specials. I watched them when I was a kid, and I've just been sort of rediscovering them. Sort of getting back to my youth. Just finished repairs on 2 2CI machines. 1 bad ROM chip. 2 broken trace power circuit area. Yeah, the power circuit area, that the startup circuit, that it's just always problematic on those, because they've got that little pile of capacitors that just sit around there. It's just almost always. I guess the one good thing about it is those problems are really well documented, and I think that them being so well documented makes it a lot easier to then find and fix those problems. If someone came to me with a 2CI where the startup circuit wasn't working, I would feel pretty confident that I'd be able to say, yes, I will be able to fix that. The ROM's an interesting one. I've never had one with a bad ROM chip, but I guess the great thing about ROM chips is it's just so easy to punch out new ROMs these days, Bad part, the person solder mask it all over. So you had to get rid of all the solder masks first. Yay. Rudolph and the Santa movies, yep. Yep. Anyone who's a particular age, oh, look, they might be still getting airplay, but certainly someone of my age. I watched the horror film Together. I found that pretty forgettable. I don't know if anyone else has seen that. That's it had some good moments, and there were some kind of disturbing parts of it. But it was a pretty flawed film, I have to say. I watched F1, the movie. That was a good romp. That was okay. I watched the new Superman. That wasn't okay. Didn't really think much of that at all, to be honest. So freaking forgettable. My God. I've already forgotten half of it. So the punching out a new ROM, I did make it sound very, very trivial when I said that. First of all, most of these Macs have already had their ROMs dumped and they're available to download off the internet. They're not technically allowed. This is copyright material, but if you search, you will find the ROMs from most of these machines. Someone's already gone and dumped them all, and they're available to download. So that's the easy thing. So then it's really just a matter of knowing what chip you need to program with the ROM data, and then having a ROM programmer. And so, you know, if you have the right chips and you've got a ROM programmer and you've got the ROM data, it's fairly straightforward. The only thing is if it's across multiple chips, the way they split up the data is they have like the first bit of data goes to the first chip, second bit of data goes to the second chip, third bit of data goes to the third, fourth goes to the fourth, and then start up again. So it's sort of, they have to be sliced up in a particular way to make them go across multiple chips. I don't even know where the ROMs are on this thing, to be honest, but I've never had to had an issue with the ROM here. Yes, the 840AV ROM socket, here it is, it's right there. So that's probably the ROMs there, wouldn't you think? Given the fact that the ROM socket would have been there, I would say that's I think it's a fairly confident guess to say those two chips are the ROMs. They look a bit ROM-ish. Oh yeah, and that says low, and that says high. So again, the data's been split across two chips. So the first bit of data goes into there, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So you have to, when you do get a ROM file, you have to split them accordingly into the high and low, and then you can program each chip, and you just have to know what sort of chip it is, and you need to have a chip program. Yeah, that's I have only just started doing that relatively recently, and that's part of the stuff I've been doing. First of all, with the older Macs, and then also with the Atari portfolio, because the portfolio has the ability for you to create ROM cards for them, and so I've been experimenting with that stuff. A cache for the 7100. Can hold 2 8-megabyte images or some other combinations. That's amazing. You know, the one thing that I still haven't actually put into a computer yet, and I really apologize for this, Will, and I'm going to do a video on it. I haven't put those 16 meg sims you sent me into a computer. They're just there. I've got to decide which computer is going to be the deserving recipient. I sort of feel like, I don't know, I feel like the Quadra 700 deserves it, doesn't it? That only takes 4. What can I stick? I suppose I could stick it in the 2CI. Actually, you know what? My 2CI has a radius rocket in it, and that's got 8 sockets. So I could actually stick all of those 16s into the radius rocket, assuming it works. The radius rocket's a bit funny about RAM. And assuming it would work, I would be able to get, what is that? 128? Is that right? 128 megabytes into a 2CI with a radius rocket. That would be incredible. Oh, and they all take a while to post. When you start sticking a lot of RAM in them. Has anyone here stuck 128 into an SE30? Man, they take forever to post. You just switch it on, you're just waiting and you wait, and you think, That's not working. Oh, it's working. You just got to wait. You can get around that if you use a non-standard ROM. A lot of those ROMs, they'll skip that process if you want to. You know, things like a Rominator or one of the ROMs that Will has, or K-Koba. Lots of ROM choices out there. The ROM that I really like, I mean, I like all of the ROMs, but I really like the ROM that that Will has, that's got that huge amount of storage space on it, so you can stick a big fat disk image on there and just boot straight from the ROM. It's fantastic. You're travelling again. Oh my goodness, Will, you need to stay home more. I've got a Rominator as well. So I've got ROMs. I've been given ROMs. I bought one. This is years ago, before I before the channel had sort of picked up. I bought a Rominator, and then I got given two ROMs from K-Koba. He has one, and it uses 4 PLCC chips that you can take out of the sockets, and you can potentially program them with a standard programmer, or you can program them using an actual ROM programmer like the one that Will sells. So he sent me one of those, but then he also sent me a ROM that plugs directly into the processor direct slot. So should you have a Mac that maybe has a problem with the ROM slot, you can connect the ROM straight to the processor direct slot. You just have to do one little bodge wire in order to do it. It's a nifty little tool to have. And then and then I've got at least one ROM, possibly 2 ROMs from Will, but one of them has got quite a big disk image space on it. So medical support again for same family member I helped in the summer. Mate, okay, I totally understand. Been through it myself just recently. So yeah, I know that's just life, isn't it? I hope all goes well for the family member. So I'm just continuing with the systematic. I know it may not feel systematic because I keep stopping, but I am actually just working my way up the board, just going left and right, finding a few little critters here and there. And then what I'm going to do after this is, see, look at how discoloured these are. This chip definitely gets hot. Whatever it is, I don't know, a SCSI chip or something? I don't know. Yeah, so then I'll chuck this into the ultrasonic, get it looking squeaky clean. I typically take the socketed CPUs out when I am doing ultrasonic cleaning. And the reason I do that is because it means that the little holes in the sockets can get cleaned up as well. What are the specs for your Mac Mini M1 you use for streaming? That's a good question, I'll tell you. It is. So, first of all, I'll tell you about the operating system. I'm running Ventura on this. I've just had no desire to put anything newer on it for what it does, because this is literally all I do with it. It is 8 gigabytes, M1, 8 gigabytes, and I think the storage is like 256 or something. Let me have a look. Yeah, 256 gig. And then I've got a 2 terabyte SSD attached to it that I record all of my live streams on. But yeah, this just, when you're running, so I'm running this with 1, 2, 3, 4 USB cameras coming into it. So I've got the side camera, the top camera, the scope camera, and the one looking at me right now. So four webcams connected to it simultaneously, and then obviously also live streaming. And this just doesn't bat an eyelid. I mean, if I look at my CPU usage at the moment, OBS is using about like 65%, and of course it's what, 8 cores or something like that. I think it's got like 4 of one type of core and 4 of another type of core, so it's got like eight cores. So if you're looking at it from the perspective of the computer as a whole, rather than just one core, it's probably about, I don't know, 20%, I'd say. It's using probably about 20%, something like that. It's just walk in the park. And as I say, before this, I used to live stream off an Intel 2012 Intel Mac Mini, and it did it. It just struggled. Just check catching up on this. Okay, yeah, so you're using a Mini Server 2012, which is pretty much what I was using before. Yep. It really started, that one started to struggle with all of the USB devices attached to it. If I was just using one camera, not an issue, but once I start talking about having 4 cameras connected to it, it really did struggle quite a bit. It was always up right at the top of CPU usage when I used to live stream with it. Oh, Jay from the House of Moth is here. Hello there. Welcome. I know why you came here. You don't want to talk to me. You want to have a look at the chickens, don't you? There you go. Chickens. Hello, chickens. Okay, so let's continue with our systematic approach of repairing this here, and I will stop talking for a minute and scan across here and see if we can find anything that looks nasty. So, once again, for anyone who might have joined recently, like Jay, one of the really common failing points of a computer like this is at the point where this solder mask finishes and the pad begins. It often corrodes just at that join point. I've already had one trace where we had a failure in that exact location, which has been repaired. Also found a few little problems related to some repairs I did last time, where there was a pin that hadn't properly soldered down because the chip is very badly corroded, and so it was very hard to get soldered to stick. I tried cleaning it, but because the pins are so thin, I couldn't clean it as much as I would have liked for fear of bending or breaking those pins. But I believe we're all good now. If I can't get this working when I do my next test, I will probably try it while pushing that chip down, because that sometimes, sorts things out. This one here, I do worry about this. I should probably go and I might just do a few little continuity tests on these little pins here, because these are very problematic, these ones. Formula 1 season. Ah, well done. Yes, I can't say I'm a huge Formula 1 fan. Where are they up to? Is it finished, or is it? Where are they at the moment? Are there any Australians doing well? I know we've had some good Australians in the past, but I don't know about now. God, it's hot. Beep. I'll be ready to go up and get some air conditioning soon. I mean, I've got this air conditioner here, but it's struggling. I'm struggling. Abu Dhabi was the final race. Cool. My daily driver computer is an M2. Is it Pro Mini or Max? I can't remember what they are, but it's very quick. It's a great computer. I love it, and for such a tiny little thing. Piastri is Aussie. He almost became world champion, so he is certainly well represented in the sport. Well, that's good to know. Well done, Piastri. Okay, now, the next thing I'm going to do... Actually, I'll just have a quick little look here at the digital signal processor. Yeah, that way I looked at that one at the beginning. I didn't see anything really problematic with that. It looks ugly, but everything seems to be making contact, so that's good. I'm just going to flip it over onto the other side, you know, because I haven't looked on the underside, and sometimes that's beneficial. Well, there's a lot of it, isn't there? Start off just scanning it with the nude eye. Well, sort of nude. I'll put some glasses on. Farewell, Dark Winter 6028. Oh, God, my eyes are getting worse. Stupid eyes. Okay. Hot. 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 Supposed to still... The forecasts are saying that in the next hour it's going to get up to 38. So... Oh, storage tax from Apple is disgraceful. In my opinion, it's shameful. It is so clearly like gouging, you know, it's, you know, we know how much storage costs, so we know how much they're charging extra for it. Bastards. So I'm looking to see if any of these little guys have been knocked off. You can tell when they've been knocked off because they usually have the edges of the solder still sticking up. This one here doesn't have any components on it. But it's rounded, so that's how it was when it had its little solder bath. But I always just like to see if any of these have been knocked off by accident. Quite an engineering marvel of the time, this computer was. And it's just such a shame that so many of them are now failing because of the leaky caps and battery explosions. It's very upsetting. Look at my great big fat head getting in on the action. What's that? Ay caramba. Where are my other glasses? There they are. Look at that. That ain't good. I mean, I think we're probably okay. I don't think there are any trace breaks there, but I certainly need to address it. So the M2 that I bought at the time, the Mini, it was the fastest, at the time it was available, I think it was like the fastest you could get. It was actually outperforming the top of the range M1s, I think, of the time. And I have no regrets buying that. It's been a great computer. It has been really good. And I was using before that a Mac Pro, which I still use. It's my Plex server and it's my security server and stuff like that. But I was using a Mac Pro. It's a dual hex core, 3 gigahertz. So it was no slouch. But I was really starting to feel it when it came to the editing. And then when I changed over to the M2, wow, it was life-changing when it came to doing the video editing. The system I use with my storage is I basically have a couple of 2 terabyte externals, SSDs, that I use for doing my main video editing. And then when I'm finished, I then archive them onto an old spinning hard drive, an old mechanical hard drive. And then if I ever need to grab them again, I can just copy them back again. And then the whole thing is backed up with Backblaze. I realise I should have a second backup. I know that I'll get grief probably from Mr. Moth about not having another backup. But yeah. I got a nice little backup strategy of my web server sorted out the other day with the help of ChatGPT. I kind of just said to it, look, I'm trying to do this and I'm running into these problems, can you help me? And it figured out a strategy for me. So I'm now backing up those servers onto a little Synology NAS, which is good. It's an very old one, but it does the job. Okay, so I've cleaned up those traces. They're looking a little bit nicer. Again, there are no breaks there, so I don't think they would have caused any problems, but they're cleaned up now. Let's go back to the goggles. Come on, focus, focus, focus. I'm going to need to get new glasses soon. I really should go and get them before the end of the year because my health insurance resets at the end of the calendar year. So I could get a pair of glasses and then it'll reset for next year. I should do that. Actually, I freaking should do that. I might try and get an appointment tomorrow. Look at the temperature, will you? 39 degrees. It's crazy. Hot. Wonder if we'll hit the 4 today. We did 2 days ago. It's a bit boring, that camera view, and I'll just do it like this. Now you can see my pretty face. Okay, here's a question. This is a nice relevant question for the sort of people that are watching this live stream. What is one thing that you don't have in your collection that you would really like to have? Like a vintage computer or hardware or something like that? It is sort of overcast. There are clouds up in the sky, but there's plenty of blue out there. I can see blue sky right from where I'm sitting. So, I'm gonna go make an appointment to go to the optometrist tomorrow. That's just crazy. These ones here, the ones that I'm wearing, there's some damage here, which I was just explaining before. I realised that damage is coming from me using the microscope all the time. So I'm going to have to try and figure something out to stop that damage from happening and put something soft around the edges here. I might 3D print a little cuff that's got some felt on it or something like that, so that it's not going to damage my glasses. G4 iMac chrome neck. Oh, okay. That's a great. I've got a couple of those, and they are, in my opinion, one of the best design Macs ever made. Just in terms of just how beautiful and elegant they are. I feel like everything in the lead up to those being made, I feel like that was finally like the vision of the all-in-one computer from way ago. But they're a beautiful looking Mac. The ones with the huge screens, they're a bit of an issue because they're so heavy, and sometimes those necks start to fall down and whatnot. So yes, I don't know why this weather thing is saying it's overcast clouds, because it's not. G3 Blue Dalmatian, yeah. It's funny how some of those cases have become a lot harder to find than others. So, for instance, like the green, the lime green, the key lime green iMac that came out, they've become really, kind of collectible because there weren't as many of them at the time. The Dalmatian, the Flower Power, that one I think is also quite rare to get hold of. So a Jack Hammond New Bus card would be nice though. I've got one of those. I got one of those included with the computer that I got hold of. So I got the computer, and then I had no idea. It was a Quadra 840AV, and I had no idea what was going to be in it. I opened it up, and it had one of those video capture cards in it. I can't remember which one, Rastrops, I think. And it had a jackhammer in it. It's like, oh yeah. So I've still got some that I want. Oh, Dana is here. Hello there, Dana. It could be fixed. I don't know. I haven't tested it. I fixed some things. I definitely fixed some things. Transparent LC. How about that? Color Classic 2. Yeah, they're as rare as hen's teeth around here. Rare as rock and all shit. For me, I know this isn't even a Mac, but I would love to get one of those, was it PC Junior, that had the little add-on boards that you stick onto the side. I'd love to get one of those. And I'd love to get a G4 Cube. That's another one. I've got a Snow iMac, but they're really common. The Snows were everywhere. I just did the Mac Effects inner bezel replacement on it. Cool. Yeah. I had fairly long discussions with one of the guys from what do you call it, from Mac Effects about that bezel. I just had so much trouble with it because they had to get hold of a decent one to copy it from. And my friend Adrian, he had one, and so they sort of used that. They had one and still in good nick that they were able to use that. Where are you getting all these transparent computers from? I wouldn't mind a graphite iMac. I like the look of those. I don't have one. I got hold of a bunch of Macs of a particular era from a guy. He just had a whole stack he was wanting to get rid of. Tried to give him some money. He didn't want any money. And I got with that a eMac on a swivel stand, a Snow G3. I think I got a dual core, a G4 tower, one of the early ones. There's a dual 450, the graphite ones. And I think I might have got a mirror drive door as well, something like that. I've got so many mirror drive doors. Only one of them friggin' works because of those stupid power supplies. Yeah. 3 Apple IIIs, my goodness. Yeah, I recapped one of my mirror drive door power supplies and it still didn't work. So there are other problems with it. But yeah, I'm tempted to just look at some of the replacements that are available. There are options these days where you can stick modern power supplies into them. You don't have to worry about trying to fix the old one. I'm probably more inclined to do that these days. That's the sort of thing that I've been doing lately. That's another thing I'll be doing in another live stream. because I'm going to probably wrap up fairly soon. Do apologise, but I am very, very hot and uncomfortable down here, and I would like to get up into the house and enjoy some air conditioning. I will pop this into the ultrasonic cleaner as soon as I feel. I should switch it on, shouldn't I? Start warming it up. On. Is it not plugged in? I don't think it's plugged in. Or something. Something's not plugged in. Oh. What's going on? Crap. God, it's going to be fun trying to get into this. Oh, that's right. There's a switch at the back. Helps if you remember that the power switch is at the back. I got all this crap on the top here. I'm going to have to find a home for that so I can take the lid off. Atari portfolios and stuff. Bits of Atari portfolio. Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what. I would be happy to give you a case for a mirror drive door because I have so many of the bloody things. But postage could be a problem. I had too much time off and forgot how it works. You're not wrong. That's exactly what's happened. Good to see you live. Okay, I figured it out. Thank you, Ryan. Don't Aussie power plugs have a power switch on them too? As in the socket on the wall sort of thing? Yeah. Virtually all PowerPoints have a switch on them. But it's just on. I just leave it on because this has got a switch here. Dave. Weird things happen to people's handles in the chat at the moment. They're just like David Stahl Old Happy Max. Is that the normal handle that you have? It's like, isn't it normally like Dave's Vintage Tech or something like that? My switch in my larger cleaner melted. That's not good. Must have been some resistance inside there, I guess. So the I would love to get hold of a Lisa, but I'm not holding my breath for that. You know, they're just getting too expensive, and they're so big. Where do you friggin' put them? I'm starting to get a bit frustrated with the size of a lot of these things. You know, I mean, some of these all-in-ones. You know, I've got like I think I've got like a couple of 5400s or whatever they are, 50-something hundreds, and they're just so big. If you want a Lisa, we need to talk. I'd have to figure out where to put it first. I mean, I would like a Lisa, but wow. Imagine you can make all the Lisa cards. How about that? There was a guy that was making brand new ones, wasn't there? Yeah. But you know, on the whole, I'm very, very happy with my collection. I've always wanted to own the entire Apple II series. So I've got an Apple II, 2X, 2CX, 2CI, 2FX, 2VI, 2VX. I think that's all of them. Did I miss? 2SI. I've got that. So I've got the complete Apple II series. That makes me happy. 475 has always been a favourite of mine. 660 has been a favourite of mine. 840 has been a favourite of mine. So, you know, you do the Lisa related boards. Wow. 2GX doesn't count. That's not 2GX is something else. Like anything with a wombat board. 840AV reloaded. So this is a reloaded project I started a little while ago that I have to kind of undo. Well, I don't have to undo all of it. I have to undo some of the... Oh, Jesus. The size of that spider. Sorry, pal. I'll put this back again. Disrupted him. Yeah, you go where you need to go. All good. I was doing the 950 reloaded, and then I realised that my donor board was actually a 900, and it just came to a grinding halt. Yeah, damn hot. Damn hot. now have hacked ROMs for the 68040 Type Macs also. What can you do with those hacked ROMs? You like make boot disk images, that sort of thing? Okay, open to the public Mac Museum. That's good. That would be good. Right, well, I think I've probably prattled on for long enough. I've been going now for 2 hours and 21 minutes, so, you know, that's not too bad. It's getting to lunchtime, so, well, it's past lunchtime. I had a fairly late breakfast, but, you know, I definitely want, at the very least, I want an ice cream because it's hot. 128K plus, this is TX Viking, 128K plus, SE30, 2CI, 2FX, Quadra 700, 650. Yeah, see, Quadra 650 was one that I wanted for ages, and then I managed to get one of those recently, so that was nice. Workgroup server, yeah, they're always hard to get. 6100, 7300, 9650, G3, G4, G5, as well as a bunch of Intel's PowerBooks and other stuff, yeah. I don't have much, well, I've got a fair few laptops, but I only have a specific vintage. So I've got a 540C, which I love. That's one of my favourite laptops out there. 68040. I love that. It's a great game, a great one for playing Civilization on. I just love to park myself in front of that active matrix display and play Civilization. I've got in my office, just my normal office, I have my Mini. Then down here I have a Mac Pro. Then on the left I have a G5, quad-core G5, and then over there I have a G3 tower. So I like to be able to have those quite accessible. The 12-inch PowerBook, I've got a few of those. I ended up doing a swapsies with someone with one of those ones, but I've got a couple of those 12-inch PowerBooks. They're a gorgeous little computer. They really are. I love how compact they are, and the keyboards goes all the way to the edge and all that. Yeah, I do need an ANS, don't I? We all need an anus. Ironically, I used to actually use, at work, I used to use the 95, was it Workgroup Server 9150 or 95? I can't remember what it was, but it was basically a Quadra 950 with another card in it, with a different label. And I used to use those at work, but we just used them as Quadra 950s. Tidy LC520, that's nice. Not many of them anymore. No, not tidy. All got busted plastic. Having a look at the Australian Mac Museum. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff on show and requires quite a bit of space. Which one's the Australian Mac Museum? Anuses have nothing to do with the workgroup services. Fair enough. My friend Dana has an anus. He has whichever one it is. I don't know. They seem like really pointless, I want to say. And I don't mean, I'm not saying that to be disparaging. I mean, it's very rare, it's very collectible, but you can't do much with them from my estimation. It's not like you can just fire them up and play a game of Civ on them or something like that. So at least with a lot of the collectibles I have, I can fire them up and play some old games on them. So very collectible, yes, indeed. Be great if someone could find a way of, you know, messing with them so that you could actually just run normal OS and do normal stuff on them. That's just what I think. Run Linux on them, so not great for gaming, but you can do stuff like run a web server. Yeah. But would you? Yeah. I released a video several weeks ago, where I was making little Apple IIe game controllers. I hope everyone watched that and enjoyed it, if you're Apple IIe fans. And of course the video I released before that was about my LC3 web server, which I haven't tested in a long time, but I think it's still going. I can still hear the fans going. So let me just check and see if it works. 68K, com.au. No, it's not working. Okay, I might have to switch it off and on again. Have you tried switching it off and on again? No. Okay, it's unhappy. It's not surprising. I mean, it's an LC3 for goodness sake. I'll have to go and switch that off and on again when I finish there. Oh, Matthew at the Mac Museum located. Oh, I know. Yeah, I know. I've never seen anything about the museum, but one of them is on a podcasty type thing, Macs Down Under or something like that, and I think I've heard them talk about it, but I've never seen anything about the Mac Museum. I mean, you know, as in I've never looked it up or seen what they have or anything like that. The link is 68k.com.au, but it's broken at the moment. So number 68k.com.au. Oh, that was the thing I should have been celebrating. I reached 68,000 subscribers. Yay! 68k, yay! Justin on Max Down Under, that's it, yep. Look, I can put the link in here, but it's not going to work until I go fix it. So I will fix it as soon as I finish this live stream. I'll go and turn it off and on again, IT crowd style. And let me just see if that works. No, yeah, I'm going to type it in manually. It's easy enough to do. http://68k.com.au. Okay, there we go. It doesn't work at the moment. I need to switch it off and on again. Are we going to hit that 40? I don't know if we're going to hit that 40. No, actually, I think we will hit the 40 because it is still supposed to get warmer in the next hour. I was on his podcast, him and regulars to the museum. When you come to Melbourne, we can go and have a squiz. Yep, sure. Mind you, I might have to go see some family while I'm down there as well. Yes, I watched a few of the first episodes of the Max Down Under, but I just haven't had a chance to get back and watch it. The truth of the matter is I don't watch a whole lot of YouTube. I always like to try and watch Colin's stuff, This Does Not Compute, and Sean's stuff, and Steve's stuff. Steve recently released a video about digitizing Super 8 films, which I found fascinating, but that's only because I'm another weirdo that likes digitizing Super 8 films. So he even showed my modded Wolverine sort of thingy, because I modded it. And I'll put that on there. Yes, can we fix it? No, it's unrepairable. Yeah, I know, it doesn't work. Needs more iframes. Yeah, I seriously, the minute I can't do anything about it remotely. I have to literally go up into the house, lean over, flick the switch to switch it off, and flick the switch to switch it back on again. So I have to actually do that quite manually, but it does just sometimes stop. The software, I mean, these computers weren't designed as bloody web servers, and sometimes it just goes offline. Just got to switch it off and on again. A Brankus IRC server or Discord or something. I'm on Discord a little bit. I have a few group chats with people on Discord, so I definitely do use Discord a bit. But I used to frequent the Tinker Different Discord quite a lot, but I haven't been on there much lately. Yeah. If I'm not having a live stream next week. Oh, that way. You know, I will be trying to live stream a little bit more. I got partway through a power supply rebuild in a live stream. I want to finish that off. So that's going to happen. And if I can get this working, then I'll probably do a little bit of a reveal of this one working as well. Christmas coming up. It is often a fairly busy time for me because that's when people like to do changes and updates and things like that. So I probably will be doing a fair bit of work, but I'll have time off, so I'll probably try and get a few live streams in during this period. Of course, to everyone out there, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, whatever it is you celebrate, goodwill to you all. I hope everyone... I probably won't live stream again before Christmas Day. So yeah, to everyone who is watching, best wishes to you all. I hope you have a very, very good time and you have a wonderful day on that day. We will, of course, will be having it a bit earlier because in Australia we get to have it a bit earlier. Yeah, I hope it's all good for everyone out there. And yeah, I will be definitely live streaming again in the coming weeks. I don't want to have as big a break as I did last time. As I say, that was just a series of circumstances. Working on a couple of videos at the moment. I've got one that I'm doing, which is a follow-up of sorts to the Juicy Crumb dock light that goes in an iMac 27-inch. I did a video on that before, but I did it with a prototype. They've now sent me the final thing. I've got a whole bunch of Zulu Scuzzy stuff that I might be assembling and doing some videos on. So we'll just see what happens with that. And I think I've got more stuff coming as well. I haven't done anything Zulu or Blue Scuzzy related in a while. I was going to do a video. I don't know if I'll be able to because I'm just having trouble trying to find footage to use for it. You know, B-roll sort of. I was going to do a video on some fonts, but that may not end up happening. Yeah. I'm not going to do any videos on Xserves. I think, hasn't Greg from Rutke Mods cornered the market on doing videos on Xserves? Even if you can't hear a word he's saying. Okay. Alrighty. That's enough for me. I have been prattling on more than enough. So let's just jump across to here. So, as usual, thank you to everyone for watching. The view numbers were actually really good today. So I really appreciate everyone coming in and showing their support, as given that I haven't been around for a while. I do plan to come back and do more stuff in the coming weeks. And, of course, one of the things I will be doing this Christmas is cleaning this fucking desk. It is so dirty. It is pissing me off. I'm going to get it looking really, really nice and clean. I'm going to try and sort out some better storage so that I don't end up with stuff scattered everywhere. I'm going to have places to put things. I want little holders and stuff. I'm going to try and put shelves in places to just try and improve it. So that's the plan. Yes, wonderful. Thanks again. Thanks for keeping the chat lively. It's kept me really entertained. I really appreciate it. Thanks for keeping me company. I will let you know how this goes. This is going into the ultrasonic cleaner. Then I will test it out and we'll see. Fingers crossed we might actually have it working. So everyone, have a great Christmas. Have a really good time. Hope to see you at the next live stream. Really should always go and find the button here. Smash that like button. No, not that one. Oh man, I did a new outro. I can't remember if I've loaded it up on here. So it may not be the new outro. So I apologize if this isn't the new outro because my Patreons have changed. So the names that come up here, I'm not sure if they're... Oh, let me check it. No, I can't. When I click on it, it'll start playing. Oh. Okay. All right. Have a wonderful time. Hope to see you soon. And bye-bye.